Imagine how bad you must be as a political orbiter to go on CNN and be embarrassed. Imagine if they invited me or any of us on CNN. They would have to cut the tape because I would hit them with so many hard-hitting facts so fast. I will be trying to convert as many shit-lived boomers as possible. But Andrew Yang has his new party, the Forward Party, and you guys notice this dude is getting interviews on MSNBC. He about to call to Jim Acosta. I'm gonna show you guys this clip now. Did Angela Walker get an invite on CNN, MSNBC? Or any third-party candidate, Matthew Ho, get to go on CNN or MSNBC after he was illegally kicked off the ballot in North Carolina by the Democrats? No. So as we go through this segment, I want you guys to keep this in mind. Why are they giving him a platform? It's obvious. We said this when we first covered Andrew Yang and his party. He's obviously an op that is meant to make third parties look bad because the establishment is smarter than we think. So they see the polls that show most Americans are ready for a third party. They see the polls that show for the very first time in man-month history, over 50% of the voters are now registered independent. You guys don't think they don't see that? So the best thing they can do is throw bait out there. Andrew Yang's party is a party ran by billionaires, financed by billionaires, in order to sheep herd people who want a third party into supporting Andrew Yang's party, which is why I was disappointed. It was very heartbreaking when Sabby interviewed Jesse Ventura and he fell. You guys see that interview with Jesse Ventura fell for it? Yeah. He was like, yeah, man, the Forward Party got potential. See, that's the point. That's the point. What Jesse Ventura fell for. So let me show you the video. I think I'll preface the video enough because it's hilarious. Because Jim Acosta is a fucking weasel. And if I ever had a chance to conversation with this dude, I would expose him as the weasel he is. But Jim Acosta destroys Andrew Yang. So I let the video play because I want to get your guys' reaction. Because I know you guys. CJ, I don't tell you stories sometimes because I want to get your live reaction. Like I literally want to send CJ stuff sometimes just because I want to see CJ reacting to it. But anyway, let's watch the video and I want to see you guys respond.
On both sides,
but you're going to have to come up with policy
really negative results,
right?
On both sides,
but you're going to have to come up with policy
really negative results,
right?
So
but
we
Andrew,
just need a better system.
Yeah, but Andrew, you're going to have policy positions at some point. How does the Forward Party feel about Roe versus Wade? Should it have been overturned?
Well, I personally think that women's reproductive rights are fundamental human rights, but the Forward Party has not left or right, but forward stance on even the most divisive and contentious issues.
Well, what does that mean? Don't you have to take a position on something?
What? Pause. I want to pause it there because that part was hilarious. I rewind it again. But Jim Acosta straight up asked him, he's like, what are your opinion on the abortion issue? Then Andrew Yang gives him a bunch of bullshit. And Jim Acosta was like, what the fuck does that even mean? This is a tweet. This is what caught my attention with this tweet. Jim Acosta literally asked him, how does the Forward Party feel about Roe v. Wade? And he said, the Forward Party has not left or right, but forward stance on even the most divisive contentious issues. He's like, what the fuck? So I rewind it. I just want to respond with that one more time. And let's get to the rest of the video. Let me mute my mic here.
At some point, how does the Forward Party feel about Roe versus Wade? Should it have been overturned?
Well, I personally think that women's reproductive rights are fundamental human rights, but the Forward Party has not left or right, but forward stance on even the most divisive and contentious issues.
Well, what does that mean? Don't you have to take a position on something? Don't you have to take a position on something? You can't just say, well, this is a hot button issue, so I'm not going to take a position on it. You know, if you want to run the country, you're going to have to make some hard decisions, Andrew.
Again, the Forward Party is about that common sense consensus majority view, which is very clear on abortion. It's clear.
What about guns? What about assault weapons?
On climate change. It's actually clear on just about every issue under the sun.
Should 18-year-olds be able to buy AR-15s?
Because of the nature of our system.
Should 18-year-olds be able to buy AR-15s?
Again, the common sense consensus majority is that there should be some rules around background checks and access to firearms. But we're not getting any of these things, Jim, because the two-party system does not need to deliver.
But it doesn't sound like you're taking any hard positions. It sounds like
you're trade power.
It sounds like you're sort of a fill-in-the-blank party. If somebody wants a party with no clear policy positions, you're it. But unfortunately, in the real world, you have to take a position on something.
Well, we're for the common sense consensus.
What? So that's obviously that's the constructed talking point. Common sense consensus, using all the words to try to catch everybody they can get. Right? Go ahead, Nick.
I'll frame it this way, and I'll pass it to Chuck. But imagine how bad of a political party and of a messaging campaign you have when you have CNN of all people. CNN of all people is begging you to discuss policy. CNN, who hates discussing policy, is like, Andrew Yang, please give me one policy. You can't do it. So I want to talk to Chuck. Like, what are your general thoughts on?
I mean, I saw the clip before, and I was rolling my eyes the first time. Okay, essentially what Andrew Yang is saying is we're going to take a poll on every position, and if 52% of people think this way, then that's the position the forward party is going to have. What? And if we did this poll in 1860 and the majority of people wanted slavery, we'd want slavery too, because we're the forward party. It's absurd. It's ridiculous. He's a hustler. He has no opinions. His only personal ambition is to keep running for office the rest of his life. Because let's face it, running for office is kind of a sweet gig. As long as the Yang Gang are going to keep giving you money, just keep going on stumps and keep talking BS.
Yeah, because I'm trying to get what exactly, this is like his fourth thing, isn't it? Fifth thing? Like he was a CNN person, then he did something else, and then, I'm going to be then I'm going to run for office. It's like he just going from one thing to the other. Go ahead.
He doesn't want to work. He doesn't want to have a regular job.
Yeah, that's what grifting looks like, right? He's taking billionaire money in order to give an illusion of a third party. So remember, now go back to the question I asked you guys before I began this clip, in this segment. Why do they invite Andrew Yang on? Why not Jill Stein to talk about third parties? Why not Angela Walker? I know we got a ton of disagreement with Howie Hawkins on the show, but I still maintain Angela Walker was pretty.
Yeah, it would have been, but Howie Walker I would have preferred than.
Yeah, even Howie Hawkins would be way better than that.
Yeah, he would have been better than this. Yeah.
Yeah. So they want to convince people that the third party option is Andrew Yang. So I know this. I'm not saying this is fact because it's more theory. But Andrew Yang is a plant by the establishment. He's supposed to go out there on CNN and make an ass of himself. Because the impression that CNN and MSNBC is trying to give is that this is the third party option. If you support third party, you're not serious. Remember the Ro Khanna video when he was asked about third parties by Sabby? And then he said, oh, we can't support third parties. They're ran by billionaires and unserious people. You guys see the This is why I wanted to cover this. They want people to conflate the forward party with third parties. That's not the case. So that's all.
Let me put an end cap, and I'll give it to you, Chuck. But
you got it. You can finish
this segment. Yeah, on this segment, Andrew. What I just don't get what exactly this forward party, because how is it different than the Democratic or Republican Party if it's only Democrats and Republicans that's forming it? That's the part I'm not clearly understanding. And to your point, Nick, it does seem, if it's not a psyop, it seems very weird that a professional institution like CNN hasn't done their research on Andrew Yang before they bring him in an interview to know that he has no answers to what's going on. It's weird for a multi-billion-dollar company like CNN to bring him on and he don't have a reason. It's weird for him to not be prepared with policy unless you're intentionally trying to look buffoonish, unless you're intentionally trying to make them look buffoonish. I can't understand what this is about. You know what I mean? And as Andrew Yang, this is not the first time people are questioning you on policy about this. This is like his fifth interview. So why don't you have an answer unless it's purposeful that you don't want to have an answer about this? And maybe that's to your point, Nick.
I don't have any proof, but that's just a theory, and that's just based on what I see. It's just a theory. That's he out there like Andrew Yang when he was whether you agree or not. He out there was like, let's do UBI, let's legalize drugs. And as a martial artist, there was a lot of people in the MMA community that liked him because he was talking about fighter pay. He was talking about how contractors are manipulated and exploited by the capitalist system. So he was extremely too far right to my liking, but he used to talk about policy. How you made your name on UBI and now you dropped it? You guys think that's legitimate? I don't think that's legitimate. I don't have to give them benefit of the doubt. Like, why should I?